Hey y'all, it's Katrina with Faith and Loops Crochet. Welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. I like to go over different things that happen in my crochet journey. So currently right now I am in market prep mode. Now one of my best sellers that I have at almost every single market is my keychains. So I wanted to add some new inventory to my keychains. So I found some free Instagram patterns and I wanted to try them out to see if they actually meet my time limit. So I charge $5 for my keychains. And because I only charge $5 for my keychains, I have a limit, a time limit. So that time limit is 15 minutes. So if it takes me under 15 minutes, then I can consider them a keychain. So today I'm actually going to be going over 6 different free Instagram patterns. And I'm going to go ahead and time myself to see how long it takes me to make each one and see if they meet my limit. My time limit, that is. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my first one. Now you may have seen this on Instagram. This one right here, and I'll insert a picture of it so you know what it is. This one is a Stitchin' by Abby. It's a crochet horse and it's actually labeled as a keychain. I'm not sure. I've never worked it up. It's been in my saved file for a while now. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how long it's going to take. I think that it's probably going to take me over 15 minutes, but I'm not quite sure. I went ahead and decided my colors, and I always use Posh Yarn or Naughty Ball for my keychains just because I think they kind of hold up a little bit better. You know, if they're going to be on a book bag or a purse or something, I want it to really hold up. And I'm not so sure that Sweet Snuggles would do that. And Burnett Blanket turns out with like a really big one. And I like smaller keychains. So for this seahorse, I've decided to use the Naughty Ball blueberry color. And I've decided to use the Big Twist Posh. And this is the blueberry smoothie. So I'm going to go ahead and get the yarns ready and everything because I don't want them to be included in my time. And then I'm going to go ahead and time myself and see how long it takes me to make. So I'll be right back. So I just finished the seahorse. Now, I don't know about you all. I'm not happy with the product. Now, I did find a few things wrong with the pattern, or maybe not necessarily. I found one issue that was wrong and then a few things that made it a little bit more difficult for me. One of the things is there's no stitch count at the end of each round. So anytime you try a new pattern, and if you've done any patterns, you know that if there is not a stitch count at the end of the round, you don't know if you're on track or not, especially with it being a new pattern. That always makes it harder. So I'm wondering if I was off a stitch because at one point I had to add a stitch in, but there was no way to go back and double check because there was no stitch count. So I just kind of went with it, especially since I was timing and everything like that. So that was one issue I found. And then in round 7, it said back loop only. I just went ahead and disregarded that. I didn't think it added a whole lot to the project, and it takes a little bit more time to get those back loops, so I just didn't even fool with that. And then in round 13, it says 2 rounds of single crochet, but it just says round 13, so I don't know if there was supposed to be 2 rows there, if it was supposed to be more like 13 and 14, or what. And then it kind of just says do these rounds and then roll up the tail and sew into place. It doesn't say to finish it off or anything like that. So I I went ahead and finished it off like I would normally finish off a project and then sewed it in. I felt like I needed to close it up. And then as far as the frills go, it says half double, increase, slip stitch, and repeat to the top of the head. So that's what I did. And whenever I came to the top of the head, I couldn't exactly finish it off that way, or I was with a slip stitch, or I was going to run into the tip of the nose. So I just done a half double and then a slip stitch, and I'm not exactly happy with it. I think it probably would have been better to start from the head and go down, because you can got more room to play with down here and the top of the head to make it a lot more pretty. I would have probably started with the top of the head and went down, so you can make sure it's a little, you know, a little bit more attractive instead of starting at the tail. So this one right here took me 22 minutes and 17 seconds. It is definitely not going into my keychain market prep list. This is probably one and done. I'm not completely happy with the product, and I don't think I will be doing it again. And if I did, it definitely wouldn't be in Posh and for a keychain, because 20 minutes on a keychain is a little bit long considering the price that I did do my keychains at. If I maybe done $10 for my keychains or something like that, I might, but I just don't think this one's going to work. And I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next one. I was really excited about this one, but it didn't quite work. So my next one I'm going to do is, this is one of these ones that has just hit the market. I haven't tried out. It's a free pattern by Mom Stitchetti. Now it is a frog, and I'll go ahead and insert a picture here. This hasn't been out very long, so I wanted to give it a shot because I see keychain and I see a little bit of a different angle with the keychain. Like, you know, it's kind of like got its arms frilled out, and it's going to look a lot different than, say, the leggy frog. So I'm super excited to try this. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up, pick out my yarn, and go ahead and do a little lapse for you, and we'll time it and see how long it takes. Really excited about this one. So I finished it up. So this is the frog by Mom Stitchetti that she just came out with. I do think it is a perfect keychain make. It took me about 17 minutes to do, and that is so close to the 15-minute mark. I think that if I did it a couple more times, I'd be a lot quicker at it. I'm not used to doing the puff stitches, so they throw me off. I don't know why. You would think that it would be easier than doing a bobble stitch, but apparently for me it's not. So I did stumble a little bit on that, but I really think that these are gonna make an awesome keychain. I can just see it kind of like, you know, dangling like this right here on a book bag or something. I think I'm going to add this to my market prep list for keychains. I do think it's really cute. I did use a 6 hook with the Big Twist Posh. I think that worked out good. I think the size is right for that. So I will make sure that this is linked below because I do highly recommend it. So I'm going to be moving on to the next pattern. And my next pattern is actually by Loops and Knots Crochet. I have not done any of her patterns at all. And I actually have 2 picked out today. My first one that I'm going to do is actually her spider, and I'll go ahead and pop up a picture of that. I'm going to go ahead and probably do this in a different shade just so I can see my stitches a little bit more than doing on a black. I haven't picked out what color yet, but I'm going to time myself and see how long it takes. So, I didn't finish it. This pattern was very complicated. It was one of them I hadn't even looked at the pattern or anything like that. So I decided just to jump in, right? It's first time trying the pattern. I knew that there might be some learning curves. Going by this pattern and looking at it and seeing how complicated it is, I would need to go and look at the video to be able to understand exactly how to do this. That takes a lot of time. I'm not 100% loving the way the product's coming out. And I don't think it's worth the time to do a $5 keychain. So I'm scrapping this one. Not saying it's a bad pattern, not saying it's not written well. It's just a little bit more complicated than what I want to do for a keychain. You all have probably done that before where it's just like, I'm not even going to do this. So I'm not enjoying the pattern and I'm not going to do it. So it is a free pattern on Instagram. If you want to check it out, you might love the pattern. Me personally, I'm not even going to finish this one. I'm not loving it. And this is all about loving your craft, right? So I'm scrapping this one. So my next one is also by a Loops and Knots Crochet. And I didn't like the first pattern, but like I said, I've never done her patterns before. I haven't looked at the Axolotl pattern, but that's the one I'm going to try. It's the newer mini Axolotl pattern that I seen on Instagram. I'll go ahead and insert a picture of it, and then I'm going to go ahead and pick out my colors. I know I need 2 colors, and it's an Axolotl. I'm going with pink. Going with 2 shades of pink, and then I'll go ahead and time myself and see how long it takes me to make it. Sorry that the spider didn't turn out, but that's one of the parts of the testing and reviewing. I'm trying to test out some of the patterns for you to make it maybe a little bit easier in your decision. Didn't care for the spider pattern? You might love it. It is a free pattern and maybe worth a shot. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to that axolotl and see how we like it. So I decided to go with the pink strawberry shortcake in Big Twist Posh, and I decided to go with raspberry in Naughty Ball. So I have to show you. This is so absolutely adorable. Now, it is so cute. I love how it turned out. Now, I did do a few things different. So, right between round 3 and round 4, she has you switch off and actually do the front loop to do the gills. And then you come back with the other color that's still attached and you go around and do the back loop. I didn't want to do that. So, I just actually crocheted these in. I surface crocheted these in after I was done. So that is something different that I done with the pattern that I just continued on because I thought it would be easier to go back. So this little guy right here took me 22 minutes. Now, I think I can do it a little bit faster now that I know where the eyes go. I had a little bit of trouble getting the eyes in because this is so small. So that did take me quite a bit of time. I even stopped the clock to get them in and restarted it. And then there was a few rounds that I had to frog out. So it took me 22 minutes, but I think I could probably get it down to about 18 minutes. And I know that these right here will sell really, really, really well. So I'm not sure if I'm going to add this to my keychain prep list. I think I'm going to have to work up another one, and with the changes that I made, to kind of make it a little bit quicker and all that. And I think if I worked it up again, I could get it down to 18 minutes. And if I'd done multiples, I might even be able to get it down to that 15-minute mark. I do think it's really cute, and I do think it's going to sell really, really well. I would love to work up this pattern in larger yarn because of the time difference, but I think it is so cute. I just don't know with my $5 keychain range if it's going to be something I add in, but I definitely am going to work up a few more to see if I can knock that time down some. I have never done a loops and knots crochet pattern ever. So it's a little bit different with the wording and the way that they do stuff. And so whenever you do somebody's pattern that's a new designer to you, sometimes it's a little bit of a learning curve. And I think that might be what I'm dealing with the loops and knots. It kind of throws me off because at the end of her pattern, instead of like the parentheses and like how many she has, it says like minus, like -12. And I don't know why that throws me off, but it does. I do love the way this come out though. It did take me too long, but I think it's super cute. Look at that. It's just so tiny and darling. So I do love the way this comes out, and I'm hoping that I can knock down the time some. So I will make sure I link this pattern below, and you can make one for yourself and see if you can maybe knock down that time a little bit more. And honestly, I'll shoot you straight. My fingernails are too long and they need to be cut down some, and I think they're slowing me down. So I do think that is a little bit of a problem. So I'm getting my nails done next week, and they are definitely going to make these a little bit shorter because these are too long. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my next pattern. So this one right here is actually, it's a flower by Hook Stories. So I'm going to I'm going to put up a picture now so you can see it. This pattern right here is free, and I think it's really cute. So I'm going to go ahead and pick out those colors and work it up and see how long it takes me to make. Not doing so good so far, so I'm hoping that this one pans out. I did get one. So I finished up the flower, and it did turn out really, really cute. Now, it didn't take me very long to do. It took me about 10 minutes because of all the color changes and everything. Now, with the size comparison of something that I normally do as far as my keychains go, I'm not sure if it's going to be a worth $5 keychain. I'm thinking though, if I maybe made this in Bernette Blanket or one of the stronger yarns, I don't think Sweet Snuggles would work. But if I used it in, say, Bernette Blanket or Basic Chenille Brights by Premier, I think that it would work up and work as a keychain. But it only took me like 10 minutes to do. I really enjoyed the pattern. I think it's really cute. In the Posh though, I don't think it's going to work, but it did make the 10-minute, well, the under 15 minutes to make. So I think it is a good pattern for keychains, but however, it did turn out pretty small. Look how tiny this guy is. Him's little. So this one did meet the test. So I'm thinking I'm going to work it up in some different types of yarn to see if maybe another one would work better. So, all right. So I have one more pattern I'm going to do with you all to test it to see if it meets the 15-minute mark. And that is the baby Yoda. He's super cute and little, and I'll go ahead and post a picture of it. It's another one of those free Instagram patterns, and I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce the name of the designer on this, so I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that it's you know, down in the description below. It'll be labeled as Baby Yoda. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up my area, get out the colors for that, and make that and see how long it takes me. So I finished him up. I think he turned out really, really cute. This one took me about, let's see, it took me about 18 minutes to do. Now, this was the first time I'd done this pattern. I think I'm positive I can do it a little bit quicker than what I did. So I think this is going into my keychain makes. It's really, really cute, and the size is about right for my $5. So I think that this one is a winner. I enjoyed doing the pattern, and I'm thinking about working it up in some bigger yarn too. It would probably make a pretty good $8 make as well in bigger yarn. But I think this is a winner, so this is going into my keychain market prep list. I want to do a quick review. So we got the Yoda, which was a winner. We have the Mom Stitch Eddie's newest pattern, free pattern, which is her frog. It is a definite winner. We have the Loops and Knots Crochet Axolotl. This one right here is a maybe. I'm not sure if I can get it down. It did take me 22 minutes to do, and I'm not sure if I can get it down. I am going to try it again. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not, but it did turn out really cute. I did enjoy the pattern. I did change a few things. So this is a maybe. This one right here was a little bit more complicated. I didn't quite enjoy the pattern as much, and I don't think I can knock any time off of it. So this one is one that is not going to go into my keychain prep list. This one right here is the flower. This one right here, it is too small for my $5 keychains. I'm going to try a larger yarn to see how it turns out, but as of right now, it is not going on my keychain market prep list. And then this is the part of the spider that I didn't finish, that I didn't like. I didn't care for this pattern. This was a Loops by Thread spider pattern. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a Loops and Knots Crochet spider pattern. Did not enjoy this pattern. Won't be doing it again. Won't be trying it. Didn't even finish it. I just didn't enjoy it. It was a little bit too complicated. This is a craft I want to enjoy. And if I'm not doing a pattern for somebody or something like that, I'm not going to continue doing a pattern that I'm like really don't like. So this pattern right here won't be doing again. So there's two clear winners out of these 6 patterns that I did. Mom Stitch Eddie's frog. It worked up great. It was super quick, and it's definitely going to go into my keychain market prep list. The other one is the Baby Yoda. Yoda worked up a little bit longer than what I want, but I'm almost positive I can get the time down to 15 minutes. So these 2 patterns right here are the winners of today. Now, anytime that you do keychains for me, because I do only charge $5, sometimes it is a definite hit and miss, and I have to try them out and time myself to see if it's even worth it. Now, sometimes I'm going to be working up projects that don't make the cut, and I'm okay with that because it's trial and error. These will still go out. They will still maybe go on a keychain, and I might lose a little bit of money with my time. I'm okay with that because I'm trying to narrow it down to exactly what I want as far as keychains and still make money for my time. So if you have any keychains you want me to try out and tie myself to see if they make the cut, let me know. You can tag me on Instagram, or you can leave me a comment below. I enjoy working up these patterns for you all, and I enjoy finding out new keychain patterns that I can add to my list. Sometimes I go to the same market, so I always want to have something new. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little keychain test and trial and error and review. If you'd like to see more content like this, please like and subscribe. I want to thank you very much for taking your time to spend with me today, and I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day, and God bless.